Okay. So are we here again? Let's try that one more time. All right. We will try this one more time. Are we testing? Let's try that again. And we will try to come back. And we will try and test again. To see if we can get back on schedule. Let's see if we can do this again. I'm not sure if I'm able to get my live back up. Let's try it. I don't know if we can start up again. We'll try again. I got a lot of static in the background. Yes, indeed. All right. What we're going to do is give it a few minutes. I'm not sure what was happening there. Let's try this one more time. We're going to welcome everyone again. Now let's see if we can do what is holding me. I'm having some technical, interference. Yes, indeed. Okay, we're going to wait just a second or two to see if we can get back on track here. And let's see if we can find our original. So we're going to see if we can drop back into where we're supposed to be. And see. So we're going to try to get that going and see if we can do that. So we're going to see if we can pick it up in the right space. This is a bit of a, I don't know, a technical a technical conundrum here, but we are going to try to get it together and see if we can make this work here. Alrighty, all right. So if you can hear me, what we're going to have to do is close and reopen the live, right? We're going to have to close that live out, and then we're going to have to reopen this one and try to pick up where we're having all kind of drama getting started. So let's see if I can do that. You know, sometimes you'll be working and things will be going great. And then sometimes you'll get started on something and it just is going to give you all kind of difficulties. And it just is not fair, obviously, to have such a struggle from time to time. But we're going to try again. We're going to try again and get it right. And I don't know if I can, but I'm going to try. But it is amazing that when you're working on something you'll be attempting to get your studio working, and then all of a sudden things will just blow up on you. All right. So we'll see if it'll take a moment for a few people to get over on this side. All right, all right. Good day again. I'm gonna try to get myself together and start one more time. You know, when you're dealing with devices and computers and cell phones, it's just that sometimes you'll start off, everything seems like it's working like it should. You get all the indicators, and then you will just blink your eye, and all of a sudden, it's like things operate in a way you've never seen them operate before. And this happens to me, I'm not kidding, so often that I think, am I affecting the electronics? But it is hilarious. So I'm sitting here, I had made sure, oh, I got all the sound up and the microphone was on. And I thought I was doing great. And then wham, all of a sudden nothing. So anyway, guys, I'm also having to it's going to take me probably through the holidays to work out a schedule that makes sense. I really enjoy doing this early on Saturday mornings, but I tell you sometimes on Saturday morning for me things get a little bit hectic, and then I find that I'm not really prepared. And so I would have to switch my schedule up a little bit and try to sort myself out. And I thought, well, okay, let me try Sunday. So I'm trying not to lock in, 100%, but I was attempting to become more consistent. And I do enjoy having these little chats. And I was trying to give them a little bit more professionalism. Actually, I'm trying to learn more about how to present um, better. And it's interesting. I just can't seem to get myself on a schedule without feeling like I'm torn from side to side. I don't know if any of you experience that from time to time, but lately that's been my, I don't know, my dilemma, but I'm still working on it. So, anyway, let's get going with our fun stuff. So, if you have time to get your coffee together and get ready, that's great. And we're just going to chat a little while. I promise I won't be keeping you all too long because, as I said, I'm trying to sort myself out a little bit. But I just wanted to maybe drop a thought or two here or there and get your thoughts here or there on what's been going on in the wonderful world of media space surrounding this type of wonderful Sussex friendly environments. So, in the media spaces, I mean, goodness gracious, over the past month, we've had a lot happening, but we're not going to let, if we can, ourselves be completely jerked jerked from one way to the other. Try to put your feet flat on the ground and then move forward with things that you need to accomplish. Hopefully, we can all continue to move that way. At the same time, becoming more aware of what is in our environment and sometimes the things that are in our environment and how they may have an effect upon us. That is why I like to do this type of video audio chats. I like to impart on other people some of my own um, methods of just coping with the day to day. It's a lot going on all around us every day. And sometimes you just need to feel that other people understand what you might be experiencing and that they support what you might be going through, i.e., the same as the Sussex family. So this here is a Sussex friendly environment. Go ahead, get your coffee ready, and then we're going to have some interesting chit chat or chatter about maybe some of the things that they are doing over these few short days. All righty, great job. And as always, we always throw out there, get your exercise in because it's an amazing thing. And I know you won't believe it, but just a few sit ups and push ups a day sometimes will help change or shift your outlook in the world. It sounds insane, but go for a walk, get in a little bit of exercise, make sure you stretch. And if you're a parent of adult children like I am, it is absolutely key that you do these things because you need to try to keep yourself as fit as possible, right? Staying healthy and staying fit. The physical is also the key to keeping the mental clear. A lot of people think it's the other way around. And I understand why they think that. You feel like, well, if your mind is not clear, then you don't feel like doing the physical work. That's true. But I'm going to tell you something. There is a truth to the fact that if you move your body, sometimes your mind will catch up. It's a strange thing, but I have found it to be true in my own life. So, that being said, get in there and get your workout in. Get a walk in, get a jog in, get a bike ride in. And if you're doing something really fun, let me know what it is in the comments section. Someone had told me about hot yoga. I haven't tried that, but it sounds like a great idea. All right, so here we are. And after you have moved around and uh, did some deep knee bends or stretches at your desk while you're working out, let's see what's going on in the world of Harry and Meghan. The UK tabloid, what will they do? They will always follow. Why? Because it's Harry and Meghan. Understand that they can't do anything but follow Harry and Meghan, right? They have no news in the UK unless they somehow associate it with who? Harry and Meghan. They can't write a headline in their newspapers about any topic unless somehow by the third paragraph they mention, yes, Harry and Meghan. Now, what they could have done is simply listen to what they were asking for in the beginning, talk to them about the challenges that they were having with the media. They could have said to the media, look, we understand that you want to run them down and use them as absolute ultimate competition with us, but we have found that we can all work together. That's what the royal family could have done, but they did not. Instead, the only way they know to operate is in competition and in control and creating negative press for those that they want to crush. That's the only way they know to operate. So, of course, what is it doing? It's creating a dichotomy where half of the world is saying, we see you for what you are as a royal family. You are very close and very closely related to the behavior of a thieving mafia, right? And a lying bunch of thieves. Now, that's half of the world. Whereas the other half of the world is saying, no, 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 no. We must support the royal institutions at all costs because they keep everything in order in our lives. They help us understand who we are and where we stand. For example, if I'm a peasant, I want to understand and learn to love being a peasant. Okay, so that's the other half of the world. And as we can all see in the world that we are existing in today, I don't know about you, but I have a feeling things are shifting, but I do not know to where. So we're going to keep our eyes open on that. So that is generally the UK tabloid press. Their whole procedure is the same. Now, here's what's unfortunate for them. When it comes to our Prince Harry and his wife, Meghan, they don't seem to have come to grips with the fact that he is in this war to the end. I don't think they've understood that. I think they believe that they could scare him or bully him or get him to move off and move away, and then all of their troubles would just disappear. Well, that's not the case because that's not the kind of man that he is, right? He's just not that. So here's what you got, right? I wanted to point out that when it comes to the royal family and people who operate at that pure blood level, right? The pure bloods and the people of the blood and whatever that is supposed to mean to us. And I could relate that to a whole bunch of alien abduction stories or vampires. I could relate that wanting to be of the blood to a whole lot of horror shows. But for those who believe they are of the blood, it was a generally perceptive behavior that no one wanted to be associated with actors. Oh my gosh, actors were negative. And how to play down Hollywood. It's a horror show. No one, the people who were of royal blood were absolutely above actors and celebrities and people who were known throughout the realm as entertainers. That was beneath the royal family, right? It's beneath their blood. However, probably because Meghan is an actress and because Harry is well known among the celebrity crowd, then what that meant to the royal family today is that they must compete. So they must jump out here and find a lot of hands to shake of actors and be seen with actors and take pictures with actors, right? And so that's what you have here. Now, remember, they have the UK media will always tell you who is A-list and who is D-list. And of course, Meghan is now supposed to be relegated to not a real talented actress. She's really not important. She's really on the D list or the G list or whatever that means, as if she's an unknown. Now, there is nothing more ridiculous than that. If by association with their own infamy of trying to create her as a monster, she is going to be the most famous and recognized woman in the world, right? It reminds me of many hundreds of years ago, someone who said in Hollywood that there's no such thing as bad press. In other words, if you're in the media and you're in the news, it means you're famous. And they didn't really care what was being said. Well, that's what they've done to Meghan, right? They don't realize it, but they keep fanning the flames. And when you fan the flames, they simply grow bigger, right? So here you had the king running along the red carpet to congratulate the actors that were in Gladiator, and Denzel Washington being one. So that took up an article about how wonderful it was for Denzel to meet the king and the other actor, Paulo, who played Gladiator. And then, of course, you have your wonderful Prince William jaunting about South Africa and all over the globe to talk about his Earthshot, um, whatever that is, right? And he's there with, I can't remember, what is her name? Not Gwyneth Paltrow, but oh, someone help me with what her name is. Help me, help me, help me. I know her name, but she's very famous and she's from all sorts of movies, including Lord of the Rings, you know. But anyway, I don't know why it's funny. I laugh at people who do lives and then they forget the names of the people that they're looking at. And today that's me. But there they are, seen with this very extraordinary actress. But that's what they do. These people, and I use the word people lightly, whatever these creatures are, imitation is part of their operation. No matter what a person is doing and no matter what they are supposedly avidly against, if Harry and Meghan did it, if Harry and Meghan said it, if Harry and Meghan are active with it, this royal family will immediately run to the camera to imitate it. Now, for those of you who don't know me, I would definitely and clearly associate that with a form of, I don't know, mental control, psychological warfare, or all sorts of things like that, because that is exactly what that is, right? And you have to think about that even in our own lives, that there is an attempt often to erase what you do, to cover it up if you make some sort of achievement, for you to turn around and see that another person has actually copied, imitated, and basically taken on who you are. As kids, we all recognize this from, say, fifth and sixth grade, right? Elementary school. When you have a friend that, or a person that spends time with you that you thought was a friend, right? And you might express something you like or you want to do or something you're interested in, only to find that a few weeks later, a few days later, that your friend all of a sudden has taken on that same interest. Perhaps to do it better or to do it faster or to do it bigger, right? I'm often reminded of a story of a girl I knew who, her family wasn't extraordinarily wealthy. They were just average people. And she used to always say her favorite color was, I believe, a lilac purple. And she was a kid that shared her bedroom with her older sister, and she would say, I really like the lilac color, and I wish I could have that in my bedroom. Like she would say, I wish I could paint my bedroom a lilac color. It would be so pretty. And she would just go through the beautiful stores and look at beautiful lilac colored blankets and towels and things like that. And she would say this to, I believe, one of her friends, how much she just wanted to have the lilac colored type of things in her bedroom. And she always fancied one of these old fashioned telephones at that time. It was called a Queen Anne phone. And if you all are familiar with that, it's the type of phone that it sits on a stand. And it was kind of an old-fashioned look, and it had like a little brass around the edges. So she would talk about how she liked that and how she thought that was so cute, and that's what she always wanted in her bedroom. But see, her family would have had to put that together piece by piece, right? They would have had to maybe buy the blanket or, maybe get the nice pillowcases. That's how it would have had to happen in her household. But the person that she was talking to, the person that she was telling, was an only child. And their family had a tad bit more money and more means. So, what do you think it felt like to her when that young lady had her mom basically outfit her bedroom totally top to bottom in that beautiful lilac color with the beautiful carpeting and the Queen Anne telephone and a canopy bed, you know? It just it was one of those things like that person were they rubbing that in your face? They were just kind of doing it out of spite. Was it ever a like that they actually had? That's the royal family. Okay? That is how the royal family appears to me. They are that spiteful sixth grader, right? That they see something that someone else really wants, and they listen to the dreams of other people and the desires of others, and then they try to crush that person's dream by imitating it or trying to behave in it in a bigger, broader fashion. That's exactly who these people are. And again, I use the word people very delicately, right? Whatever that is, right? I always say that. You don't know what that is. So I want to tell you guys at this moment, right? Let me take a quick break and let's just see who is here in the chat this morning. At least for those of you who could manage to stand and listen and be here, even though I was having all kind of sound issues. So good morning, Keen for Concepts. Thank you. Oh, you reset and reopened over here. Thank you so much. I know it was a nightmare of participation, and thank you for sticking with the challenge. Good morning, Joyce Anderson, and thank you for being here also. Man, you hung in there as well. I appreciate it because it was turning into an absolute nightmare. Joyce Anderson also says, good Sunday morning to everyone. If you're getting ready for church, folks, get up and get out there and get yourself ready. I think Sunday school's about to start. Let's see. Joyce Anderson also says, I am always so happy to show up for you because you leave me with such wisdom. You're so sweet. Thank you. I don't know. I don't feel wise, especially. Thank you so much. I don't feel wise all the time, especially on a day when I'm fighting with the mic. Oh, good morning also, Lorna Williams. Thank you so much for being here. You don't know how glad I am to see you. And Lorna Williams also says hello and good morning to everyone else. Joyce Anderson and Keen for Concepts. So Lorna Williams also has said to us that it is like the person that comes to your home and copies everything you have. You had better believe it. You had better believe it. That is exactly what that is. So the question is, what is that? Right? Like when you're kids in your fifth, sixth grade, you could say, okay, that's kids trying to emulate another. You're trying to find your footing. Who are you? Right? Your friends say they like comics, well, then you like comics. If your friends say they like cheerleading, then you think you like cheerleading, even though you might physically have no interest in it whatsoever. If I say I like track and field, trust me, I liked track and field. And definitely the 4 or 5 other people that said they liked track and field, after 3 months of practice, they realized, no, they didn't really like track and field. Okay. So sometimes you have to burn them out. And that's how I see Harry and Meghan. What Harry and Meghan are doing and how they move, it's just like a marathon. You can jump in it because you think that's what you want to do. But because it's Harry and Meghan, they are running a marathon. And you are going to find that if you are particular in your imitation, or you are in your competition and imitating, I have a feeling you're going to find that before you finish the 26 miles, you're going to fall to the wayside. And that's the royal family, right? They have the means, they have the money, they have all that they need to pretend to be it. The fact is, they simply aren't it in reality. And it drives them insane because they're trying to pretend to be it. Now, 500 years ago, that's easier to do. People believe things a lot more, were a lot more gullible. Although I have to be careful because, yes, I must agree, today people are gullible as well. But you at least run into folks who are not as gullible, right? But that's what they do. They just run around and try to pretend right now they're trying to keep up with Harry, right? They're trying to create around them the type of adoration Harry has. And it's simply not likely. They might do well, but it's not likely. Now, I just wanted to run through the next thing too, is to let you know that in this photo here, she's pictured with, this is Megan, by the way. I just wanted to say this is in the bottom left. She is pictured with a company owner of a company called Highbrow Hippie. I'm not truly familiar with this company, but from what I understand, Highbrow Hippie works with hair color, hair health, self care, and hair supplements. So, for folks who are interested in that, take a look at how Highbrow Hippie, which is now going to be, I believe, a company that Megan, of course, supports. And that's because some of the folks who are working in and with that company have worked with her in the past. So I think that's great. She's going to offer a really cute uplift to Highbrow Hippie. So I think I might check it out. It looks like they do things, especially with people who are trying to really take care of their hair and repair it. Now, we're going to, as I am moving along, you guys had to have noticed that while your friend was out running around on the shores of South Africa, while they were out talking about all their wonderful opportunities and things that they were going to do to help the earth and health and all these other things, at the same time, the Channel 4 News in the UK was putting out the fact and listing this huge informational documentary about how they generate money and all of the different things that feed into the money that these folks earn. And I couldn't help think beyond just plain bandits, right? That these people operate very similar to a protection racket that people used to talk about, during the mafia, the heyday of the mafiosos. It's like a protection racket. There are these people, they walk up to you and you're doing your business or you're operating your business, and they somehow insert themselves into earning money from your business, right? So they revealed in these documentaries, not only do they own properties themselves and charge rents, and the properties are not very well taken care of. It's not like they're putting sums of money back in the properties. They're just taking the rent money. And then you find out that they rent also items to the Navy and to the Marines. For example, it's like renting landmass or shorelines or docking stations, things of that nature, which are created and built by taxpayer dollars, no doubt, but somehow they have to pay leasing fees and rental fees to the royal family. So if there is nothing that it looks like, is just like a protection racket. It's like someone in your neighborhood coming to your house, right? They knock on your front door and they say, "Hey, you got some nice chairs out here on your front porch. You want those chairs to stay nice, you know? Well, that's going to cost you $15 a week, and they'll make sure that your chairs stay nice," right? I mean, we've all seen this in movies like Goodfellas. Okay. So to me, it's the exact same thing. It's a protection racket, right? They're charging all of the UK for things that the UK actually operates, sustains, and builds, right? Can you like charging the military for their barracks or where the barracks are located? Now don't get me wrong. If you are a real estate person, you're certainly going to lease your land. That's true. But it's just the idea behind the fact that the UK personnel, the taxpayer, is actually paying for so much of that, and they don't realize how much of that is going into the pocket of the royal family, as if it is a private owned facility or a privately owned business. So I think what's happening is people are waking up to the reality of what is the privately owned business of the royal family. They're just now waking up to how that works, right? But of course, Harry and Meghan are cut out of that. you know. So, with all that being said, let's have some fun now. And I call this fun because it is all for success X. I always get to delve into something that is so completely and totally unrelated and ridiculous. But I can't help myself but follow some of the P. Diddy news. Are any of you out there tracking any of this? If you are, put a one in the, put at least a one or a thumbs up in the chat. I'm just curious if any of you have been following, listening to, or heard anything about the situation around Puff Daddy, Sean Puffy Combs' arrest and some of the things that he is being charged with. I know, I totally am jumping off. I'm totally jumping off the bridge with this information. Okay, well, let's get a little bit of background, but I can't help myself. I've got to bring this to you guys because it's craziness. Sean Puffy Combs is a music mogul. For those of you who don't have any background, he was a pretty big upcoming rapper in the 90s. He and Jay-Z worked fairly closely together. They ended up owning various music production businesses, which for those of you who are not involved or understanding of how the music business works, it is a huge money-making business. Often it is a huge money-making business because, for one, the artists often get paid far, far less than what the artist's music is actually earning. And I'll give you an example. Let me think. You may not pay attention to, for example, if you're looking at a commercial on television, you may not be paying attention to, say, the music that's in the background, right? But it's very possible that the music in the background is by an obscure artist, say from the 1960s. You may not consider the fact that by that commercial playing that music every time it comes on, technically it would be earning someone somewhere, say, a few dollars. Well, this money adds up to millions. When you think about commercials, if you think about music just playing in the background in movies, if you think about music all over the place. So Sean Puffy Combs, as Jay-Z, they earn their money from music companies and corporations. Now, here's what was happening. Sean Puffy Combs became huge. So he became a multi-million dollar mogul. And over the period of time that he worked in the music business, he decided to annually or every time there was a big award ceremony, he would have parties. And his parties became famous, right? Because anyone who was anyone would be at his parties. Well, here's the crazy thing about this. It would appear that Sean Puffy Combs, along with characters like Jeffrey Epstein, who had his island where men were there picking up young, beautiful girls, sometimes too young, beautiful girls, it would appear that Sean Puffy Combs had parties that had some of the same scenario. Rooms where people might have been engaged in, let's say, activities. Okay. And I'm going to put in, I want to type this out because I think it's funny, people, where people were engaged in activities that may have been morally questionable, right? So that's just one part. And then the other part would be that many people that were with him and spent time with him did so because they were hoping that they would have a music deal or become a famous singer and things like that, which often did not happen. Instead, they would be somewhat used or manipulated, and their music and the rights might go to him, but the person didn't really earn a great deal. There was a lot of that with Sean Puffy Combs. So all of this has now come to a head. And although he got arrested, and I was looking at one of the comments, let me look at whose comment is this right here. Lorna Williams. She says, it's like the person that comes to your house. Okay, that was from the earlier comment, but it was one I saw that you made. I think you made here, and I was gonna pop that up. Is that you said after he was arrested, um, I turned out RICO charges are serious, and I will wait until the trial starts before I tune in again. Okay, I see what you're saying. All right, I wanted to hit that. Okay, so the RICO charges are the actual. Okay, this is the thing: how he used the money, how he made his money, whether he paid people properly for their talents and their gifts. That is one thing. The other thing is, or what is the more salacious part of the story, is what was happening at these parties and who were the people involved at the parties. Now, guys, I got to tell you, I can't stop watching this because, and I'll tell you all more about it later on, but I just wanted to mention, I have been digging through so many crazy interviews of people that and it's funny because I've listened to these people for a number of years. And that's because I used to watch a lot of online, especially YouTube interviewers and YouTube casters, simply as I was getting interested in doing this myself. And so I would run across different interviews of probably things that most people weren't watching. And I ran upon actually Jaguar Wright, who was interviewed at one time. And this is a very key person in this storyline because she originally was talking about some of the dirty dealings that Sean Puffy Combs was involved with. But now we've got other people trickling out saying they too witnessed various things with Sean Puffy Combs. Now, here are some of the allegations. Allegations. There are assaults that have had and occurred with other people who are either in the business or around the business. There was money issues, whether people signing contracts and not getting paid according to their contracts or simply not getting paid at all. There's that. There are folks who are saying that they were under various forms of coercion to perform in various activities and to do things that they did not want to do. And then, of course, there's a great deal of deception coming from the Sean Puffy Combs camp. So, folks, you talk about something exciting to pay attention to. It's this, as far as watching it like a television show. All right, don't get caught up. But I do want you to know that it is a world distraction. It is, things like this are absolutely a distraction to what is going on in the wider world. So don't get overly caught up like I would. But if you wish to be entertained, the Sean Puffy Combs situation is truly entertaining. And I am one of those people that have pulled my chair up to this scene and scenario. Because right now, I want you to know, and don't think badly of me, we are now in the world of listening to all the exotic dancers, ex strippers, and working, well, I would say, nighttime working women. And they are telling their stories and their encounters with Sean Puffy Combs. So it is becoming quite a story and a saga. Okay, that was just to entertain you guys. All right, just to throw you off. So, once again, this is the real deal. Harry in South Africa, all the aunties have gathered. This is the real deal. And you already saw what the copycat looked like. And there is no comparison. So, for those of you who might be interested in joining the wonderful Invictus Games, winter games that are about to come up, I did find on the website that their tickets are on sale and that they're setting the games activities between February 8th and 16th because these are the winter games this time. So for those of you who might have the wherewithal to actually try to get to Canada or to participate, I hope you can. I like the winter, but not that much. So I would love to be there, but I think I would rather watch it from television. I'm a summer girl, but I think it will be exciting, and I'm hoping that it will be uplifting to the military men and women that will be participating. So that's the upcoming Invictus Games. Why? Because Harry and Meghan are real in what they're doing. They are real people. They're not imitating, and they're not trying to compete. They don't need to. Okay? So let's support them in that. So I was thinking of how they try to make Harry and Meghan into a perfect villain. And this is what the UK tabloid media tries to do. So I wanted you all to just kind of take this in and just sort of keep these thoughts in mind. If you were a writer of a novel and you had to create a villain, well, these are some of the things that you would do to create a villain. A good villain in a story, right, can wreak havoc on other characters in order to generate conflict. Well, this is what they try to say Harry and Meghan are doing. They try to create a perfect villain that you can raise your story to the next level. Well, and that's, again, what the UK tabloid press tries to do because they want you to be engaged with their press. I still do not understand why people purchase those newspapers. I wouldn't. I wouldn't go to their websites, not as a paid customer, and I wouldn't purchase anything they put out. It's similar in our area to what's happening with various social medias. Many people are removing themselves from certain media platforms. One of them is Twitter. And that's because, as far as it's concerned, the purpose and its use has been corrupted. And so many people are now leaving that platform. I currently engage mostly on YouTube, but I also have been playing around with um, a social media platform called Fanbase. And as I learn more about Fanbase, I find much of it interesting. So hopefully, if you all have nothing to do one day, you can check it out. Many people are moving to another platform. I think it's called Blue Sky. I don't know much about that one. I'm learning. But then the other thing here, the last thing about creating a perfect villain is this. Let's see. To create a perfect villain, you should first understand the role of a villain and then build a backstory for a villain and then put the villain into action in the story. So that's what they've also done, is to create a fake reality of who Meghan is. So, and Meghan and Harry, they try to create a Meghan that no one knows. They're trying to create this mean girl and this awful person and this um, individual who is very negative. And this is a Meghan that no one knows, right? Because the people who know her, they know that's not her. Because it's just not. It's crazy. So I want to thank you guys again for being here. And I again want to remind all of you to please like, share, and subscribe. Please, please, please like, share, and subscribe to engage here on the channel to show that you are excited to be here. Lorna Williams also tells us that the winter in Vancouver is more rain than snow. The winter portion of the games is being held in Whistler, which is up in the mountains of Vancouver, and they will hold the indoor sports. So you're saying I could put on a sweater and I should be okay, if I'm understanding you correctly. So is that what you're getting at? You're saying, I'll be okay. Well, we would see. It sounds beautiful. Every picture that they've shown, especially of Vancouver, is gorgeous. And I actually have a cousin that lives in Vancouver, and we were supposed to go visit, and we just haven't done it yet. But I would love, you know what? I just might have to check it out and see what it's like. Travel for me is just, sometimes it is just so intense. And I'll tell you more about how many places I've been in the world, which probably is why I feel so worn out these days. But thank you so much for that, Lorna Williams. We will see if we should get up there and check it out. I bet it would be beautiful. Okay, guys, you have withstood this broadcast. Thank you so much for being here. You have hung out and you have tried your best to stick with us. I appreciate it. So we're going to lead into what I like to do is reflect upon a various Bible verse. It is Sunday. And no, this is not a recruitment tool to any cult. Remember that. These are just thoughts that I think about and I like to share for various. Okay. So, folks, here's where we're going to go. Just for today, as always, remember, Harry's lawsuits are still coming. Invictus is still a great thing. The production in Arrow is still ongoing. And they're going to continue to do Polo because Polo is always on the way. I always list those things because I like for people to understand that as far as Harry and Meghan are concerned, nothing has changed. They will always still be the wonderful people that they are, right? And no matter what things are thrown against them, they will remain constant and vigilant. At least I think they will. And I definitely pray that they will not succumb to the naysayers. At least that is my hope. Now, guys, once again, who am I interested in this time? I would like to refer you guys to something that was said in the book of Isaiah, because again, for Bible verses, it's just fun to point out things that come along and things that come into my mind. Well, in Isaiah, when you get down to chapter 5, they're basically going, there's a lot of talk in Isaiah and dealings with what's happening in a vineyard. Okay. But that's kind of beside the point. I encourage you guys to take a read of chapter 5, and they're talking about the work going on in this vineyard and how things are happening and what's being laid out and just different things that are happening and how cities are being wasted and who's doing what to whom. But there's a line in here that really puts me in the mind again of how the UK royal family operates and in some aspects, the rest of the world. I mean, we've all seen it in advertisements and political campaigns and all things of that nature. But Isaiah 5:20 puts it really well. They said, "Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, those who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Now, if you think about the world we're in today and the things and challenges that people are facing, you can tell even through media, television, advertisement, again, political campaigns, that there is definitely a concerted effort to make people believe the exact opposite of what they have known to be true, right? A concerted effort to kind of tell everyone in the world that up is down, down is up, wrong is right, but right is wrong. To make people move in a direction that is so counter to what would be in their benefit, right? We are seeing that worldwide. So, what I would do is say to you guys, if you have any interest, is to kind of read through Isaiah chapter 5 and watch what's happening in that world. What brought them to that statement, right? Because it's very similar to where we are today. And I always remind people, I have my favorite books of the Bible. And the odd thing is, they're generally the older scripts. Whether you are a fan of or interested in, it's the thought behind what is being said that I'm usually talking about, right? Because in this particular statement, it is intriguing to watch where we are today and to watch people behave in opposition to themselves. And it is simply because there is almost a mask, or if you will, if there is a layer going over the visibility of the common man, making them see things as the opposite of what is reality, at least my understanding of reality, right? So, with that being said, thank you guys again. Thank you again for being here. Give yourself a round. Yes, you are. So remember, folks, remember, and I hope I didn't keep you too long. Stay focused. Thank you for fighting through the sound checks with me. Stay positive. Yes, indeed. We all need to stay positive. And remember, there is always something positive to step forward to and keep winning no matter what is going on. Even if you go down, get back up. Thank you so much. And I hope to see you all when I get my scheduling down more consistently.